is happening, people, and welcome to today's video where I want to share with you guys 4 ways to increase your pressing power. Now, in this video, I'm going to be addressing both the bench press as well as the overhead press and the different aspects of each, but I don't want to waste any of your time, so let's jump right in. Tip number 1 is hammer your triceps. Whether you're having problems in the bottom of the press or the top press, it doesn't matter. Having stronger triceps will absolutely help you out, and it covers a multitude of sins. So for this reason, one thing that I really try to do is do some sort of direct tricep work at the end of every single bench day as well as overhead press day. Now personally, I try to do this in some sort of superset or giant set type of format. And the way that I do that is I choose one exercise that is a compound movement that really stresses my tricep, and I will shoot for something like 5 to 8 reps, and then I will follow with 2 other tricep focused exercises that will go to failure in each. So let's just say, for instance, you're gonna set up your first exercise, pick a compound movement, something like a close grip bench press or a floor press or a Swiss bar press where your hands are very close so that you're mainly hitting your triceps. And then I like to follow that up with something like a bodyweight dip that I will do to absolute failure, and then I will follow that up with something like a banded tricep extension, and again, go to absolute failure. Not really focused too much on the weight on the second 2 exercises, but more just really focused on the mind-muscle connection, trying to hit my triceps as hard as possible and working them to absolute failure. Tip number 2 is build a bigger and better foundation to press from. And in this instance, when I say foundation, I'm talking about your upper back, because if you have a bigger, stronger upper back, you're gonna be able to create more force in your pressing. Now, for over a decade, I've been able to utilize this by using some sort of antagonistic movement prior to the pressing motion in the same plane, meaning that on every single bench day that I have done, I will always do some sort of rowing motion directly prior to the bench press variation for the day. And on my overhead press day, I will always be doing some form or type or variation of a pull-up prior to doing my overhead press. This is an awesome way to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and doing the pulling motion prior to the pressing motion, since you're using antagonistic muscles, it does not take away from your pressing. You will not be exhausted going to your pressing. If anything, it actually helps it, and this is something you will find in every single one of my programs at neversate.com. But this is an awesome way to get more work done in less time. You're building up your upper back while you're also building up your pressing, and I can just about guarantee that once you have a bigger, stronger upper back, your pressing will rise. Tip number 3 is to find the weak point in your chain. For the overhead press, you think about the extension, and your body is stretched out further than it is on virtually any other exercise that you can possibly do in the gym. And if you think of your body as a stick, the easiest place to break it is in the middle. Unfortunately, your body is already set up and built to hinge in the middle. So in order to have a good foundation to actually get force going through your entire body into that press, it means that you need to have a really good breathing and bracing situation, as well as flexing your butt as hard as you can. If you're not doing those 2 things, you're absolutely losing some force into your press. Now, on your bench days, this means that you need to think about your setup, your leg drive, and how you're unracking the bar. When you're in a good compacted bench setup, that means that if someone were to walk past you while you're getting ready to bench the bar, if they ran into your legs should not move, because you should have full body tightness. If you don't, you're losing power in your press. Now with your leg drive, if you find that when you initiate it, your butt keeps coming up off the bench, then you are utilizing leg drive in the bench press incorrectly. And if you need more help on it, I have entire videos about this in my bench help playlist, so you want to go there next directly after this video. However, when you do initiate that leg drive, you should be trying to push your body north, as if you're trying to slide your head off the bench, or like your legs would get kicked out, almost like you're doing a leg extension. Doing that is going to allow the force that you are putting with your legs to travel through your body up into the bar, and you will get more horsepower in your press. And the third thing about the bench press that I want to address in this tip is how you are unracking the bar. Because far too often, one of the most widely made mistakes is that people will just unroll their shoulders to get the bar out of the rack. And that is completely incorrect, because it puts your upper back in a compromised and a much weaker position, so then you can't use that good foundation that you've been building from step number 2. And again, if you need more help with this, I have entire videos just about this technique in my bench help playlist. But rather, what I would like to see you do is turn the bench press into more of a decline bench by raising your hips at the beginning and then just simply pulling the bar or rowing the bar out of the rack and then placing your hips back down. This allows you to keep your shoulder blades back and down in a good position where you're going to be able to utilize as much force as possible and use your lats in the bench press. If you can do that, I guarantee you, your bench press is going to go up. And finally, tip number 4 is to bring everything in. The closer things are to your spine, the stronger you are. That's why if you go to pick up a person, you don't do it with straight arms. You pull them close to your body and then you lift. The same thing can be utilized in the bench press. And if you are anything like most people in the world, your grip on your bench press as well as your overhead press are probably a little bit too wide because you feel like you're gonna be stronger there. But the reality is you can't use your triceps and all the other muscles involved in both presses if you are doing that. So bring your hands in just a little bit, like half an inch, something like that for most people will actually get them more pressing power. Now, once you brought your grip in, you need to think about what you're doing with your elbows because most likely you need to bring those in as well. On the bench press, if you bring your elbows in, you keep them a little bit more tucked for a little bit longer, then you'll be able to use more of your lats, you'll be able to use more of your pecs, and they will flare out towards the end of the press, switching it to your triceps, allowing you to use more and more weight. And the same thing is true for the overhead press. If your elbows are too flared out, you are not using your upper back muscles whatsoever in that press, and you're not gonna be able to use nearly as much. Also, when we're talking about bringing everything in, you need to think about your bar path, because on an overhead press, one of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to press the bar straight up, and that's not what should be happening. You should actually be pushing to a plane in line with the back of your head. That's gonna allow you to keep the bar over top of your spine, over top the middle of your foot, and you're absolutely going to be able to move more weight. With the bench press, again, people are trying to push the bar straight up, but that's not what should be happening. You should be bringing the bar down to a point kind of around your nipple line, and then the bar should be ending at the end of your press, somewhere close to above your eyes. Changing those two bar paths are almost definitely going to allow you to use more weight on both presses, and you're going to be much, much happier. All right, that is what I have for you guys today. I really hope that some of you will choose to implement some of these tips in your training. If you're struggling with your pressing or you're getting frustrated, try these out because I can just about guarantee that they will work. Now, I thank you guys so much for absolutely everything you do to support the channel, the likes, the shares, the subscribes, all that stuff, as well as buying the programs at neverstate.com, and especially the coaching calls, because the coaching calls are probably my favorite part of the entire job, where I get to know each and every single one of you. I get to help you with your individual goals or tweaking your program or doing form checks or whatever the case may be. I absolutely love it, and it's so cool getting to know so many of you. So I thank you guys so much. I will catch up with you later in the week. Until I do something amazing in my life, keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other. I'll see you then.